Hello everyone, my name is Jessica and I am the host and owner of the Fit with Faith podcast, where we talk about real stories, real struggles, and real life. And just so you know, God is always a part of the conversation. I'm glad you're here. Now let's dive in. Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to episode 5. Per request, I'm going to dedicate this episode to kind of going over my marathon weekend that I did. And yeah, we're just going to catch up. I'm going to let you know how that went. And, because I'm me, I obviously overanalyze things in a spiritual sense. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. So if you don't know, last weekend I went to Orlando and I did the Princess Half Marathon weekend. Has Jessica ever done a marathon before? Absolutely not. Have I ever even run a 5K before? Absolutely not. But what did I do last weekend? I ran a 5K, a 10K, and a half marathon back to back. Yeah, that was an experience. But ultimately, excuse me, I've wanted to do that for a really long time. I just genuinely never thought that I'd be able to. And I had this whole grand idea that I was going to train for it. Yeah, no, that didn't happen. No, didn't train at all. I literally did not even run one day before this. I'm being 100% honest. Like, I did my cardio on the Stairmaster. Do I do the Stairmaster fast? No, I do steady state cardio. Yeah, that was a risk on my part. But all is well. I did it. It was amazing. I had a really, really fun time. So we'll recap. Friday, the first day, is the 5K. The 5K is not timed. And I did that one with my mom. And we rock ran. It was a mixture of the two. And honestly, was it cold as all get out? Absolutely. We woke up at 2:30 in the morning. And it was cold. And in Florida, it's different. So Florida cold is wet cold. So it could be 40 degrees and it feels like 20 just because of the humidity and the wind. It was all my strength at that moment, because obviously this is our first one, so we didn't know what the process entailed. So we got there as early as we possibly could, and we didn't even know that there was different starts. We didn't know that there was different corral. I had no idea what this process was. I did not do my due diligence in researching, but at the same time, it was fine. Me and my mom had a lot of fun. But we were in Carousel D, and it went all the way from A to F. So luckily we were in D. But we also didn't comprehend the fact that there was a start time of when they started in A. That was 5 o'clock. We got there at 3:15, 3:30. So that was a fun time to stand there in the cold, literally shivering on my insides. And lo and behold, A starts. But that's right. There's Corral A, but A has all the way to 7 different start groups. Fun times. But like I said, the 5K was so much fun. We started in the Epcot parking lot, but then you end up running the last mile and a half all around the Epcot countries. And I was living my best life with my mom. We were, like I said, running, walking, but I was just, I don't know. I had that little kid energy that just took over me, and I just wanted to sprint my butt through the park. Obviously I didn't, but I wanted to, and it was fun, and we had a great time. And then we went to the parks after. We ended up going to Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios? Yeah, Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom Friday. And Friday I wasn't necessarily tired. 5K is 3.1 miles. So I wasn't necessarily tired. I didn't feel it too much. And yeah, we had a great time. And then this 10K was on Saturday. And that was just me. So that's a 6.2 miles. And even that didn't necessarily feel that bad. It really didn't. I was genuinely impressed with myself at the fact that I didn't really... I think I walked... The only time I walked was to take videos, because if not, my videos just looked like a big old blur. And I took pictures with each mile marker, and there's characters set up throughout the race, and there's water stations, and there's bathrooms set up, because obviously if you're drinking water, you have to go to the bathroom. And yeah, they're playing music There's lights. There's people set up throughout the course to kind of like keep you motivated. And what else did they have? When you get closer to the park, they have PhotoPass photographers there to like capture all the moments for you, which was so much fun. You see the big green tent and you're just like posing and running, and people are running and jumping, and there was so many people and everyone was dressed up, and it was just such a fun experience. And during the 10K, I had like a purple outfit so I could be Rapunzel, and I had flowers in my hair, and it wasn't as cold Saturday because it rained Friday night, so luckily the humidity kind of took over and made it a little warmer, which was nice. And for that race, you started in the Epcot parking lot, then we ran through the street, and then we went into Hollywood Studios, and then we went from the backstage of Hollywood Studios, ran through the park a little bit, back on the street, and then we ran through Epcot again, we went from Hollywood Studios, then we ran through the boardwalk, and then from the boardwalk, that's how we got back into Epcot, and it was just beautiful. The boardwalk at that time with all the lights up, and there was people that were like standing on the boardwalk cheering for us, and they had signs and posters, and which made it really, really fun. And I was just so overtaken by how pretty everything was, and like just, I don't know, I was in this state of bliss where it was like, yeah, I'm running, but like I didn't feel like I was running, and it was just so much fun. And my song of choice the entire weekend, I didn't listen to music during the 5K because I was talking with my mom, but during the 10K and the half marathon, the only song that I had on repeat was Tear Off the Roof by Brandon Lake, and it seriously kept me motivated because I just got into this like one runner's high zone, and it was just, I don't know, I just was so overly grateful and blessed to be able to be doing this run. And whereas most people might say it was like miserable because they were running, I don't know, I did not feel it. I felt so grateful because I thought about like all the things that I had gone through in the past. Like literally this is my process while I'm running, I'm not kidding. I'm thinking about all the things I'd been through in the past. I'm thinking about how grateful I am that I'm here with my mom, that I have the ability to do this, that my body is letting me do this because my body has been fighting me for years. And I'm just thinking about like, last year around this time, like I was so uncomfortable in my body. I was prepping for a show I didn't want to even do. I was very, very insecure with how my body felt and looked. I honestly, like a lot of people didn't know, but I was genuinely unhappy with how my body looked. Like I didn't want to be known as a bodybuilder anymore. And I kept putting myself in this box because that's what everyone expected me to do. And I was like, never in my life would I have thought that I'd be doing a 10K right now. And here I am doing a 10K. Not only am I doing a 10K, but like I'm running through Disney. What the heck? Like I was just so, I don't know. Like I said, in this state of bliss where it was just like, wow, this is what I get to do right now? Dang. And let's mention how before the race, like they're talking to people that are racing and they're talking to women, and there's some men there too, but they're interviewing people, and the stories, oh my goodness. There was a woman who had a double vasectomy and was doing it. There was people who had survived cancer. There was a woman who had survived breast cancer and like had a double augmentation and was there. There was pregnant women there. There was a woman who had like literally just had a baby, and she was like, yeah, hoping I don't break my stitches. And they were like, yeah, please don't do that. And there was older people there. And like when I was sitting before the half marathon, I had the opportunity to like just hear these three women next to me. And one of them was like, yeah, I started this when I was 55 and I've done 5 of these so far. And the other one, like all around the same age. And I, me being me, said to myself, I was like, Jessica, you have no reason to walk. You are not allowed to stop. If they can do it, you can do it. Buck up, buttercup. Like I was like, not being mean to myself. And I was just like, you know what? Like I spent years where I wanted to do this, but didn't do it. And why? Like, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I ever try? What, because I was scared? Because I was the quote-unquote bodybuilder and I'm not allowed to run? No, I like running. But I feel like in the society that we have today, like to say that you like something that's different or not what people are used to you doing, as soon as you say that, they kind of like look at you funny, and it's like, what? Like, I can be multiple things. I don't have to be this one thing. I don't want to box myself in. And I did for so long. And it's sad because we all do that. Like, you box yourself in, you create this identity for yourself, whether it's, oh, I'm a banker, I'm a baker, I'm a florist, I work in finance, I'm an engineer. Like, you are not defined by a single thing. And I did that to myself for so long. And like, here I am running a 10K through Disney, listening to all these stories. And like, mind you, there's also like a handicap people that go, like, it's called like the Racers on Wheels. And I was watching people with disabilities go through these races, like whether it was autism, Down syndrome, people were missing limbs running these races and walking through them. And there was, like I said, people had survived cancer, had survived strokes. And I'm just like, so overly blessed to be in that situation, and I'm probably gonna get emotional, but it was just like, wow. And like, people, obviously people today like have such a, oh, well, Disney's this, Disney. Honestly, if you truly look at what the heart of Disney is, that is what I experienced during that race. And like, it may sound funny to some people, but man, to hear all these stories and to watch these people, it was like, this is what I love about society and people, is like overcoming challenges, the camaraderie, like getting together and just having fun, for Pete's sake. Like, yes, the 10K and the half marathon are timed, and yes, there was someone who did it in like literally half my time, but I had so much fun just being in that space that I really, like, I forgot I was cold. I didn't even realize I was running at some points, where I just was like, kept going. Like, I'm not kidding. The 10K, I was like, dang, I've like not stopped. And I kept the pace that I was kind of anticipating for someone who didn't train. To keep like an 11-minute mile, hello, go me, pat myself on the back for that one. Can I run a mile faster than that? Absolutely. But obviously I paced myself because, hello, I'm running a 10K. And same for the half marathon. And I finished, when I got towards the end of that 10K, not only were they was a choir towards the end playing worship music, like they were singing a worship song, but I just was like, I got that second wind, and I felt like I was sprinting towards the finish line. Was I actually sprinting? No, my mom got me on video. I was 100% not sprinting. Don't get me wrong, I did speed up. I was like running, but I did not feel my legs. I just was like, how fast can I go? Let's do it. And I like crossed, and I saw the video my mom took of me, and I was busting up laughing because I was like, I totally thought I was running faster than that. It was great. But I don't know. I'm going to do every Disney race I possibly can, if I'm being honest, because that was absolutely amazing. And I finished the 10K, and I just felt so proud of myself. For the first time in a very long time, I felt so proud of myself. And even so, and this is where I get into the spiritual aspect, like, do you realize how mean we are to ourselves? To where me telling myself that I'm proud of myself was actually like a hard thing to mentally like wrap my brain around, that I was proud of me. Because we don't say that enough to ourselves. We're so caught up in the hustle and bustle of today's society and of culture, and like everyone doing everything, and oh, but they're doing better than me, and oh, they have more than me, this, that, and the other. And it's like, take a second to be proud of yourself for how far you've come, for the things you've done, for the things you've had to overcome. Like, you're here today because you've overcome every single day before today. You have faced battles that people probably don't know of. You've gotten yourself out of bed every morning on the days that you don't want to. You have chosen you and your future on days that you really didn't feel like it. You've gone to work, you've gone to school, you've taken the test, you've done the things, you've put up with negative people, you've put up with harsh comments, you've put up with the doubt, you've fought the good fight, and you're here today, and you should be so proud of you. So right now, let's just do that right now. Take a second right now, and whether it's me telling you, whether you tell yourself, just know, I'm proud of you. And you should be proud of you. And I really hope you say that to yourself more often, because I literally never thought that I'd be running a 10K. Ever. And I finished it with such utter happiness and such joy. And honestly, like, I really thought my body was gonna hurt, but it didn't. I felt good. I was like, man, I feel good in my skin. Like, I genuinely felt confident. Again, for the first time in I couldn't even tell you how long. I felt confident in who I was, how I looked, how my body felt. Like, my body felt good. And after that, me and my mom went to Epcot and we had the day and, like, we just had fun. And I had fun with my mom and, like, we got dinner. We were in a Cars themed room, okay? We were in the Art of Animation in Radiator Springs. How could I even begin to complain? Like, there was no complaining allowed. I was in Epcot. I was running it through Disney. There was no complaining allowed. And me and my mom, I don't know how I think she felt it too, but, like, I genuinely felt like I connected with my mom. We've never done something like this, especially by ourselves. And, I mean, I'm 27, and me and my mom, like, I'm a girl, she's a girl. Like, we bicker, we argue, we're opinionated, we're independent. But I felt so connected with my mom, and, like, I felt like me and my mom's relationship just reached, like, a level that I was like, wow, like, my mom's like my best friend, man. Like, my mom was there for me at the end of the race. And, like, my mom's the one that recorded me. And, like, my mom's the one who was experiencing this with me. And it was just great. Like, I've done so many things by myself that, like, to have my mom there with me, it just made it so much better. And, like, to be able to celebrate with someone, like, after doing something like this. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, through my bodybuilding shows, my Olympic lifting meets, CrossFit competitions, like, just things I've done in my life, like, I've had no one there. And it's not because, like, my parents didn't really want to be there, but, like, I'm in a different state. But to have my mom there with me, like, the first time I'm running a marathon and it be a Disney marathon, it just made the experience so much better. And the half marathon, let me tell you, that was Sunday. And that was a very long race. But looking back, the only time it felt long was miles like 7 through 10. Because, so the course for that one you always started and end at the same place. But we started at Epcot and we went, oh my gosh, down the Florida highway into, like, we ran from Epcot to the transportation and ticket center, ran through that, then we ran into Magic Kingdom, and, like, even then, like, when I was waiting in the corrals to start, I was a girl that I met that I was talking to, and she told me how her husband and her baby were going to go to Magic Kingdom and, like, kind of meet see her in the middle of the race, and I was like, oh my god, they can do that? And so I told my mom to go do that, and I was so happy I did. My mom had never gotten to experience Magic Kingdom like that at night, empty. I did because I worked there. Like, I did sunrise yoga one day, but I told her, I was like, go. Because I obviously didn't want her waiting in the cold, but my mom still, like, she waited in the cold for me. And so I told her, I was like, go to Magic Kingdom. And she was able to get, like, hot chocolate and be on Main Street as I ran through Main Street. And, like, I stopped and, like, hugged my mom in the middle of the race. And it just made it, I don't know, I got a second win during the Magic Kingdom portion. It was miles, like, 4-ish to 6. We were running through the Transportation Ticket Center in Magic Kingdom. And, like, running, looking up at the Disney Castle. And then running around Magic Kingdom and then running through the castle. And, like, oh my gosh. We all needed that midway through the race, let me tell you. Because then, like, they also had, obviously, like I said, the photo pass people. But then they had a spot set up where you could stop in front of the castle and take a picture. And that was the only picture that I genuinely stopped for. Because I was like, yeah, right. Like, I'm getting this picture. And they made it go super fast. So it wasn't like I had to stop for a long time. But let's also throw in there that after mile 2, like, I felt it a little bit. I felt my quad kind of stinging when I started, but after mile 2, it was like the cramp from the devil in my leg. And I was like, oh, I have 11.1 miles to run with a quad cramp. This is going to be fun. But it was a testimony to my perseverance, let me tell you, because I was committed. I genuinely, like, I had no goals, really. No, like, I want to finish in this amount of time. But when I looked at my 10K, and then I was like, okay, I think if I can do it in, like, 2.5 hours, the half marathon, like, I'll be pretty good. I didn't, like, break down, like, oh, it's an 11-minute. I didn't break any of that down. I just was like, 2.5 hours, that sounds about right. So going into the half marathon, when I started running and I felt good, I was like, you know what? I am committed. I am committed to running the whole time to and through Magic Kingdom without really stopping. I did stop, like I said, for videos. I stopped for a couple pictures, but I did not stop and walk until at like mile 6.5, 7. Because, like I said, the quad cramp from hell was in my left leg. And on my left leg, on my left side, I also have sciatica. So when I tell you this was a testimony to mind over matter, it 100% was. I told myself, I can do it. I can do this. And like I said, Tear Off the Roof was playing in my headset the whole time until I was in Magic Kingdom and they had music and I paused it, but I digress. And that song, I just was like, you know what? There's if someone could be in my head during that race, they would have heard, God help me, God help me, God help me, God let me finish, God help me get through this race. Jesus, take the pain out of my leg. Holy Spirit, help me with my leg. Lord, I was like, just take away the pain. I was like, I'll focus on it after, but please, while I'm running, just take the pain. Like, I'm not kidding. I was talking to God the whole time, just, God, please take this pain out of my leg. God, please, this hurts. Please just take it away. I was like, I promise I'll rest after I race. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Just please let me finish this race. Like, I don't want to stop running. I don't want to walk. Because again, like I said, I'm an athlete. I'm very hard on myself. So to hear people much older than me doing this, and like, I was like, I'm 27. I can do this. And there was a man there who was in his 60s, and it was his 100th half marathon. Like, come on. I was like, no, Jessica, no excuses. Is that me being stubborn? 100%. But if you know me, you know I'm stubborn. Like, that's a given. So I did the thing. I committed until about mile, was it 6? I think I was like mile 7 when I was like, okay, let's see how it feels to walk for a second. So I let myself walk. And that, like I said, miles 7 through 10 was absolute torture because you're again back on the street and it got cold again. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have 3.5 miles of street again. And you're basically running back the way you came because you have to run back to Epcot. But you're also on back roads. So like we ran by like the Swan and Dolphin. We ran behind all of those. And it was just, that was the hard part. That was okay, can my mind really push me through this right now? Because there's also a few hills that we went through. We went on some roundabouts. That was rough. But that's when, and like I am going to upload the video on my TikTok of like me recording myself saying, Lord help me, God please help me. And I walked a couple times. I got some BioFreeze because they had stations throughout the half marathon with BioFreeze, with lubricant, I guess for people that were chafing, which was so odd to me. That was weird. I went to grab it. She's like, oh no, that's lubricant. I was like, what? I was like, which one's BioFreeze? She's like, that one. I was like, oh, okay. So I got the BioFreeze, tried to put it on my leg, and I put it on both of my legs because I was like, oh my gosh, like I know my right leg is compensating for my left leg right now. And then they had water stations. On every race, there was water stations. On the half and there was Powerade stations as well. And they also had a little table with like these energy jelly beans. But when I tell you I couldn't even use my hands because my hands were hurting, I could not use my hands. I could not open them, and I didn't know what they were. They just gave them to me, and I put them in my pocket. I had gum that I was, like, kind of sucking on throughout the race because I, like, did not want to drink water and did not want to have to go to the bathroom. Like, I was in a zone, so that was that. That's just me. If you want to stop and get water and get a power, you want to go to the bathroom and stop, you go for it. You stop. But I was very committed to, like, my game plan that I was literally making on the spot. So we get through miles 7, 8, 9, 10, and the sun starts coming up. We start seeing Epcot again. And my mind starts to like refocus on we're almost done. We can do this, Jessica. I was like, Okay, I was like 2 miles left. I was like, that's about like 20-ish minutes or so. I was like, we can run, Jessica. And so like I told myself, because I stopped a couple times between 7 and 10, like just to walk, and I like kind of tried to stretch my leg, and I was like, this is not going away. So I just start running again, and so when I hit the mile marker 10, I was like, you have 3 miles left. Okay. Hit mile marker 11. I was like, you're running the whole time. You're not stopping anymore. So committed to that. Did the thing. Again, thought I was full on sprinting to the finish line. I was not at all. My mom got a little bit of a video of me running towards the finish line. No. Jessica was not sprinting. I just literally, my legs were numb. I could not feel my legs to save my life. And when I finished, I started crying. I started crying when I finished the race because I was like, I just ran a half marathon. Never, if you would have asked me even a year ago if I would be able to run a half marathon, I would have been like, you're insane. I bought the ticket still saying to myself, like, there's no way. And again, I did not train whatsoever, which I had planned on when I bought the ticket, but I didn't. And man, I cried because I was like, I did something that I never thought that I could or would do. And I did it. And I did it in the exact time that I said I would. I actually kept the same pace from the 10K. I did an 11 to 11:30 minute mile when it like broke it down. And I finished in 2 hours and 34 minutes. And if you were to like take out me walking and stopping, it probably would have been under that, which is still mind blowing to me. Like I was just so proud of myself. I don't know. I just was so stinking proud. And even more proud in the sense that after the race, me and my mom went to Magic Kingdom to take pictures, which, hallelujah, how did I do that? God only knows. But I just was so grateful because the last few miles, my mind was like, nope, what leg? No, we don't feel nothing. So didn't feel my leg until like later in the day, and I was like, ugh, this hurts. But yeah, I don't know, I was so grateful. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you for helping me finish. Thank you for helping me do this. I'm so blessed to be able to be here right now. So grateful that I did this. And it's funny because when I started to like think about and like tell people like I had a cramp for 11 miles, I started to think about when Jacob gets his hip popped out in the Bible by the angel that he's wrestling with, and he has to like walk the whole oh my gosh, I can't think of words now. Limp the whole way to Esau, and I just was like, yep, I can sympathize. It was like, granted, my hip didn't get popped out, but holy cannoli did this hurt. And I don't know, I just started to think about that and started to think about how, like there's so many testimonies, so many things that people make it through that they didn't think they could make it through. And like mine may seem very small in comparison, but it just begs the realization that like you can do whatever you commit to. And that the only person who's going to tell you that you can't is you. Because did everyone think I was crazy for doing these races without any form of training? Absolutely. But did I do it anyway? Absolutely. Because I knew I could. Subconsciously, even though like I don't know, I told myself, I was like, if I have to walk, I'm going to walk, and that's fine. But when I was in the thick of the race, watching people like continuing to jog, watching people run, and like hearing all those stories, I was like, no, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it right. And I'm going to commit to this. And I'm hooked. I'm going to be doing more marathon weekends. Absolutely. But I just was like, God, the only reason that I was able to push through was because of the fact that I talked to him the whole time. And I was listening to worship music. And I just was like, God, please help me finish. Please help me finish. Because if I would have let my mind wander into the sense of you don't have like, and it did. Let's back up a second. My mind did multiple times have the thought that, what am I running for? Like, I can walk. It's no big deal. Why can't I just walk? Just let yourself walk, Jessica. And I kept going because I kept saying, like, God, no, help me finish this race. Help me finish this race. Because I knew at that point, like, I knew I was strong enough. I knew I could do it. But that thought that the enemy crept in my mind of like, well, you don't have to fight against anyone. Like, you're not trying to beat anybody. You're just running to run. Like, doesn't matter or whatever. But it mattered to me. It mattered to me to see what I was capable of. And the enemy wanted to make me feel like I wasn't capable, or to make me feel like I could give up or give in to the pain. And I wonder how many times we do that to ourselves. You give in to the pain in the moment without even trying to talk to God, without even trying to see the other side of things. You give in to the doubt, you give in to that negative thought without even trying to combat it with a positive thought or with a positive affirmation. It's like when the enemy was trying to tell me that, like, I could walk if I wanted to walk, and like, you're not racing against anybody, like, it doesn't matter, whatever. I kept telling myself, like, I'm so glad that I had that worship music playing in my mind instead of like whatever else I could have been listening to, or listening to nothing for that matter. But I just was like, you know what? No, like, I want to run. Like, I want to do this. I know I can do this. And as I was asking God, like, to please help me finish the race, that was one way he was helping me, by helping me combat those negative thoughts and you can just walk. You don't have to run, just walk. And I said, no. I know I'm strong enough to run. If they can do it, I can do it. If all these other people can do it, I know I can do this. Like, there's no reason that I can't do this. So let that be, like I said, this may be simplistic and it's nothing crazy compared to what other people do, but just think about that. Next time, like, you're facing a challenge and you're just like, I don't know if I can do it. Well, who says you can't? Because I promise you, with God's strength and with the armor of God and calling on God and all of those things, like, you can do whatever you want. You are more than capable to do these things. You're the only one that's going to determine whether you will or won't do it, though. Because if you ask God for help, he's going to help you. If you listen to society telling you that you can't do it, and you give in to those negative thoughts, chances are you will never do it. But wouldn't you rather look back and say, I did it, than I wish I did it? I would much rather act and look back and be like, man, I can't believe I did that, than say, I wish I would have done that. That's how I feel when I look back on my life. Like, yeah, I played soccer for 14 years. Yeah, I did go to nationals for Olympic lifting. Yeah, I did do multiple bodybuilding shows. Yeah, I did turn pro. Yeah, I did do this. I did get 2 bachelor's degrees. Yeah, I did do that. Da, da, da. There's so many things that I forget that I even did. But I'm so glad that I did them. Because I don't like living a life with what if. So if there's something that you are thinking about doing, or something that you want to do, a goal you want to pursue, I encourage you just to try. You're not hurting anybody by trying. Because you try, you fail, you try, you fail. But the only real failure is when you stop trying. And yes, that is Madame Leota from Haunted Mansion, but I digress. It's true. The only true failure comes when you stop trying, or when you don't try at all. And that probably was a little more in spiritual, the sense that you guys thought about when you thought about me posting a race recap, but it's true. I hope you go out and you try something that you've wanted to try for a really long time. I hope you find the courage to do something you never thought you could do. Because you are capable of doing it. And God knows you are. You just have to believe you are. Well, with that being said, I don't know how to really end this. Like always, I don't know how to end this. So, I hope you believe in yourself today, just a little bit more. I hope you have fun listening to me talk about my marathon weekend. But next episode will be episode 6, and we will talk about the next lie that the enemy loves to tell us, and it's that we are too much. So we talked about the fact that I'm not enough, but now we're going to talk about when he tries to tell us that we're too much. So come back next week for that one. And like always, I'm going to remind you that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Till next time.
Thank you so much for listening to the Fit with Fade podcast. I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you come back next week. Until then, have a good one.